and welcome to another It Must Be Nice to Be James episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Catherine
Another
Weigel.
one.
I am one of your hosts. I am a Tiny Habit certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach, and a GLP-1 certified coach.
Yeah.
That's right. We're going to do all the certifications, everybody. I have lost over 100 pounds and kept it off for over 7-8 years, something like that. And with me today is my parasocial relationship husband.
Wait a minute. Did you just insult me? Hello. I am Donald Weigel. I apparently am in a parasocial relationship. Didn't even know it. I have lost about 100 pounds. Kept it off for, I don't know, whatever amount of years.
Yeah, a lot.
And we are here to talk about it.
We are. I don't know. But I didn't actually know what a parasocial relationship was.
I
do you
still
know
don't.
what it is?
No. All I can think of is it has something to do with parachutes.
No.
No.
It doesn't. That's often what people think it is. No, I guess a parasocial relationship is when someone who is a fan like follows someone like a podcaster, a very good-looking couple.
Oh,
like
yeah.
us.
Yeah. Super good looking.
They follow a podcast or some celebrity, and they kind of feel like they're in a relationship with them. Like they know their updates and what they're talking about or whatever, but the celebrity doesn't know who they are.
That's really interesting because I have felt that way about people, but it's usually characters on shows. Like, I kind of feel like I'm in a parasocial relationship with not the actors, but the characters on It's Only Murders in the Building. Like, I want to be their friends. That's
true. Yeah, I don't know. Look, if anyone is an expert on parasocial relationships, keep it to yourself. I don't really care. No. No, but like there, a friend in Wolt Place, We Only Look Thin Place, said like when we first met, she was like, "Oh, a parasocial," and I was like, I don't know what that means. So it just sort of means that like you follow someone, you feel like you know them, but then they don't know who you are, sort of. But
yeah. Now, paranormal relationships,
yes,
like hanging out with ghosts and things like that. That makes sense.
Wasn't there a woman who said that she was like married to a ghost or something?
Probably.
Who knows?
A parasol relationship where you hang out with people who have good sun cover.
That is true.
Yeah.
But I don't know that this is a parasocial relationship episode, but we did get an email from Must Be Nice James. No, it must be nice to be him. So are we parasocialing him because we're envious of him?
Maybe. But look, it doesn't seem like it's all upside.
No, it doesn't. But why don't you... So today we're going to respond to a listener question from James. So we'll find out what might not be as nice as we think it is. So Donald, why don't you kick us off with the email from James?
James says, "Hello, you two.
Hello.
You are so good looking." No, he didn't say that part. Longtime listener / fan, and the first time wanting to throw a question at y'all. He really does say y'all.
Yeah, he did say
to avoid some medical issues that some of my other family members have gone through, I have started taking GLP-1 medication. An unexpected side effect of being in a GLP-1 is a near total lack of appetite. Now that I don't have the siren's call of buffets, the siren's call of buffets is definitely one of my band names, and free samples calling my name around mealtime, I find that I have to force myself to remember to eat.
So this is where it
must be nice. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what it means to eat a healthy portion size, aka going out to eat with my skinny friends and matching their order size. I have worked on adding more healthy foods, bulking them up. What he meant to say was pump up the volume. However I can, and going on walks, but I didn't expect food to be this challenging for me. Any advice or even thoughts about what other facets I should be considering would be appreciated. Thank you kindly, James.
Hello, James. Thanks for writing in. It's funny, we got this email, I want to say back in late July, early August, and have just gotten around to replying to it now. But coincidentally, I received my certification for GLP-1 coaching. Now, I want to make it clear that neither Donald nor I have been on GLP-1 medications.
Yeah, so I don't know what it's like, and I am also not trained or certified in it.
So Donald will be playing along with you at home.
I am the trophy husband for this episode. I just appear on your arm and look really good in photographs, and you proudly show me off to the world.
I do. So I am a GLP-1 certified coach, and I think, Donald and I have been able to come at our weight loss journey ventures from the calorie tracking side.
Yeah.
And I didn't know very much about GLP-1 until I got my certification, but I think that there are distinctions that we're not going to compare and contrast here, but there are some distinctions that are solely for GLP-1 users. But some of his questions, like being able to eat with friends and that kind of thing, and not trusting hunger signals, I think is a universal sort of perspective. So whether you are on a GLP-1 or not, I think you can get something out of this episode.
Yeah. And look, I just want to say this is just me, my personal opinion, nothing to do with being certified or not, or, I'm certainly not a medical professional, but I think that sometimes there can be some shame around going on a weight loss drug. And I think that we as a society need to get past that. And, if you need some medical help, you don't get upset with someone for taking like allergy medication when they have allergies, so taking one of these drugs, I think, can be very beneficial. But I think some of the things that we're going to touch on in this episode are some of the positives, like not having an appetite feels like a positive, but also there are some possible, negatives and side effects too.
Yeah, and nothing in the world is a quick fix. It is super easy to be able to judge someone else for anything that they're doing, or say must be nice that they're able to do it. But for any of us who have had struggle with our weight, I think we can empathize with James and support him on his journey venture. So, Donald, what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about how GLP-1 drugs work, common side effects of GLP-1 drugs, why it's important to let go of your reliance on hunger cues.
That's true for everybody.
And we'll share some best nutritional practices for being successful on GLP-1s. And lastly, managing eating with friends. Yeah,
so if you didn't know anything about GLP-1s, by golly, you are going to know about it now. And the G in GLP-1 stands for golly.
Golly.
Yeah, you didn't know that. No, it
sure does.
Yeah,
you can tell she's certified because she knows.
Yeah, they are going to take away my certification based on all of my shenanigans. So,
golly. So why don't we start off with you telling us how GLP-1s work?
I will. So first of all, Jay kidding about the golly, everybody. It actually stands for glucagon-like peptides, glucagon-like peptide 1. So glucagon is something that people actually produce in their own bodies. It's inside you all along.
It's
like
not
alien.
Shaka Khan.
No, it is not.
It's glucagon.
Glucagon does sound like some sort of villain, doesn't it, though? Like glucagon comes and ruins everything. But no, it just has to do with your sugar.
Either that or it's like a lawn product. Like, my lawn is thriving because I spread glucagon on it. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get serious, everybody. So here's a high-level look at what happens in the body when someone takes GLP-1s. Okay, so first, it slows stomach emptying. So food actually stays in your stomach longer, which makes you feel full very quickly. So it increases insulin when blood sugar rises. It decreases glucagon, a hormone that raises blood sugar. It enhances satiety signals, must be nice, but in the brain, and it reduces hunger, but it also reduces reward responses to food cues, especially high fat and high sugar food. So kind of like it dulls your like interest in food, which again must be nice, but also maybe you're losing a little bit of pleasure that comes from the food that you're used to eating.
Well, and I know that I have used food to soothe myself and reward myself for most of my life. So I think that there are certainly like pluses and minuses to that. You might be less inclined to be like, oh my God, I've had a hard day. Like I really need a giant slice of cake. But also when you're celebrating, out and you're, trying to have like a celebratory meal or something, perhaps it's less pleasurable than it was before.
Yeah. So what are some of the side effects, Donald?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I have some here. So I won't go into the minutia, but there have been a lot of studies done on GLP-1s, and very common side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and constipation. Dehydration and appetite suppression were the most frequently reported adverse effects. And then almost a quarter of people on it in one study were diagnosed with a nutritional deficiency within 12 months because they weren't getting enough vitamin D, vitamin B, or they weren't getting enough iron, so they were developing anemia.
Right. And not all people experience the same side effects. I know a couple of people on GLP-1s who have said that their hunger signals are just fine, everybody, and they still want to eat all the things. So just because James has a particular side effect doesn't mean that everyone experiences that. So again, we're coming at this from James's point of view and answering his questions, but all side effects are up for discussion. And some side effects are actually just a reflection of the food that you're eating that might not agree with your stomach. So it does require some modifications in the kinds of food that you eat. I don't know that we're going to go super into that in this episode, but there are reasons and there are ways to sort of avoid feeling sick as well.
All right. So why is it important to let go of your reliance on hunger cues?
Right. So James asked that question of sort of like he goes half the day without being hungry. That's great. But the problem is, again, that because the GLP-1s affect your hypothalamus, who knew we were getting so sciencey, everyone?
Yeah.
So the hypothalamus is sort of the brain's regulation center for hunger.
Oh, I thought it was that thing in the back of your throat that hangs down.
Oh, boy. We're not... You wanted to go quickly through this episode, and now you're uvulating. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so GLP-1s strengthen the feeling of fullness and weaken the feelings of hunger. So someone might report feeling full after just a couple of bites, forgetting to eat, or feeling frustrated at their low appetite in social situations, which I think is a really big deal.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. And also, thank you for explaining to me
oh my gosh.
A minute ago.
Oh, boy.
So James said that it was a very unexpected side effect, that having that total lack of appetite. I personally have spent most of my life wishing that I had a lack of appetite.
Right.
So why might that be a bad thing?
Okay, so biologically, you lose the food noise you're used to having, and the drug acts to affect your hypothalamus, and your brain doesn't tell you when you're hungry. The wiring no longer works like it did in the past, right? So like you can't rely on those signals. And I think that that is true for anyone who has like a desire to eat food. You're like, oh, eat intuitively. I intuitively want to eat everything.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are on your weight loss journey venture, we might, and none of us might be able to trust those signals because we just want to eat all the time.
Yeah.
So
if I listen to my body, I would just eat chocolate and cheese 24/7, and that would be it, because that's what my body tells me I want all the time.
Right. So biologically, we can't trust our signals, but then emotionally, like I've never not been hungry. And we get like when we are not hungry, like James is, we get sort of a high of like, oh my gosh, I'm not hungry. I don't need to eat. This is amazing. Because we always associate not being hungry with sort of like, I'm free, right? Like I don't have to worry about food at all. But we get sort of a high from the novelty of not wanting to eat. And sort of like, oh my gosh, I have so much more time to like, get a PhD now that I don't have to eat.
That's right. I don't know what I would do with all that free time.
Right? Who doesn't want to forget to eat? And we tell ourselves forgetting to eat means I'll lose weight faster. And that's kind of where the danger comes in.
Okay, so what really is the problem with a lack of hunger?
Okay, so the lack of hunger, the problem with that is sort of twofold. One, we're trying to use a brain software system that no longer is reliable. It's like having a gas gauge that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And you're just like, do I need gas? Do I not need gas?
That's a really good analogy.
Those signals no longer work. And it's just sort of for those of you who know what babies are, like
some in our audience may know what babies are. Others of you may not be familiar.
But it's like babies work well on a regulated schedule of eating. I've heard.
Yeah.
I haven't had one personally, but apparently consistency is important. But okay, so our gauges don't work. Our internal gauges don't work. And the second part of that, and this is kind of the dangerous part and the sort of the side effect part, is by under eating, you're not getting the nutrients you need, which can lead to dizziness, fatigue, muscle loss. And a lot of people end up quitting GLP-1s because of those side effects that Donald was talking about, of like, I feel terrible. I feel nauseous. I'm not eating this is too hard. But when we're able to understand, like, oh, I need to eat on a schedule because I don't know when I'm hungry or not. And we'll get to sort of the tips on how to manage your food in the next chapter. I guess there's a chapter. I don't know. But when your brain isn't giving you the appropriate signals, we need to proactively manage when and what to eat so that we don't become nutritionally deficient and that we're not dizzy and lightheaded and confusing that like malaise with superior weight loss ability.
Exactly. A lot of people don't know that this is the only podcast on the internet with chapters.
Yes.
So you said we were going to talk about it. So what are some best practices for being successful on GLP-1s?
Okay. So when people are eating less, again, your hunger signals don't work. You feel fuller, faster. Every bite matters. The nutritional density of the food that you do eat really does matter. Just like eating crackers all day because your stomach doesn't, because you feel nauseous.
Yeah.
That there's no nutrition in that. So considering the nutritional value, really, like I said, really does matter.
I've been told you can get kicked out of bed for eating crackers also, my whole life.
Okay. All right. Okay, so focus.
Listen, I'm the Ed McMahon in this episode.
You're like, let's keep it going, everybody. Okay.
Well, it's fine if it's
You know
me.
what? We should have a Patreon that just cuts out every bit of like wackadoodle side effect. You have to pay extra for the direct content.
Yeah,
no jokes, just content.
No horsing around at all.
Okay, so focus on nutrient density, ease of digestion, and minimizing ultra processed foods because they sit in your stomach longer and then they just kind of get gross and it's not good. Don't do it. So the first one, and again, this ties back to James's thing about not being hungry, schedule your eating. Don't just wait to get hungry, wait to notice. Schedule your meals specifically, even if you're not hungry. This isn't about that craving. It's about feeding yourself in ways that make sense. So eating small portions so you don't get full is really important.
I try to do that anyway, even not being on GLP-1s. I try and eat small portions throughout the day, but that's maybe just me.
Great. So eat small portions of easily digestible foods. That means low fiber, staying away from raw vegetables is actually really important. It's weird. Just, you can Google it, but that those are actually really hard to digest. So focusing on yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, fish, chicken, protein drinks, like healthy oils. I don't know why I'm like making fun of healthy oils, like avocado, nut butters, because they're easy to digest and they're more nutrient dense than like white carb foods. Another one is avoiding greasy or starchy foods, as that are harder to digest and might cause nausea.
Boo.
And the more negative, like as I'm getting older and in perimenopause, certain foods affect me in bad ways over and over again. Or like when I have alcohol, I can't sleep. And at some point you're just like, you know what? It's not worth feeling crappy all the time or not being able to sleep because of the alcohol. So avoid, limit greasy foods. And then hydration is really important, but it's different on GLP-1s. We're not like when you guzzle water, I should get 120 ounces of water a day, like in normal human people think they should do. Sipping water slowly throughout the day actually helps, because if you drink a lot of water at once, it can trick your stomach into feeling full. And then that again delays your hunger signals. So sipping on water, eating foods that are, I was going to say thick with water. That sounds gross. Eating foods that are...
Boy, these foods are thick with water.
Boy.
Oh, my goodness.
I passed the certification, but they're going to be like, you know what, dude? You need to maybe don't say the word thick.
Perhaps not telling people to eat things that are thick with water is the way to go.
Okay, eating foods with high water content. There, I got it right. Like mushrooms, cucumbers, brothy soups, popsicles.
I like a good brothy soup with mushrooms.
Throughout the day, helps you not feel full too quickly. But again, if you are not hungry until the end of the day, just like set a schedule. At 10 a.m., I have a cheese stick and some yogurt, or I have a cheese stick and, I don't know. I can't think of any other food in the world right now.
That's all there is. It's just cheese sticks and yogurt.
Yeah. And maybe an apple, part of an apple without the peel. The peel is hard to digest. But just getting in the practice of eating small amounts can be helpful. Stay away from raw, like nuts and almonds and stuff like that, because of the fiber content. That is also hard to digest. There is so much to go through this to digest. So yeah.
I just wonder if it, and this is just me speculating, like I have a reminder program, an app on my phone. Not necessarily for, I don't use it so much for health and fitness stuff, but throughout my day to remind myself to do work tasks, especially. I wonder if in this particular case, if you might forget to eat, that, you know, having some sort of reminders set up on your phone, like, oh, I should do this. I should eat this now. Might be a good idea if you might actually forget to eat.
Well, and especially because we get that high of like, oh my gosh, I'm not hungry. Like the fat's going to melt off. That's great. But that nutrient is so important, because if you undereat, it can lead to nausea, fatigue, dizziness, listlessness. Easy for me to say. Why do I pick such hard words? So again, when you think about your food, it's a non-negotiable. Like you need to fuel yourself. You need to put gas in the tank. And one of the big parts of that is focusing on easily digestible proteins, like I talked about. Focusing on protein at every meal. And I'm not talking about like a specific amount of protein or protein goals, but just knowing that, like, how can I like put some protein in along with what I'm eating. So that could be having scrambled eggs and some avocado on the side. Finally, I'm thinking of foods to eat.
Yeah.
Having some
cheese sticks,
and
yogurt.
The funny part is I'm not a fan of the cheese stick.
Yeah.
I don't eat them myself. But again, just getting in that scheduled, this is a a practice for me, even if I'm not hungry in small amounts. It can really help kind of stave off that feeling of like dizziness and being tired. So again, and finally on this sort of best practices is there's so much information on the internet, whether on Reddit or where that's the dark web. Someone I am coaching for GLP-1 actually mentioned like, well, Reddit said I should do this. And there's so much kind of diluted information that might not be helpful, that perhaps working with a GLP-1 coach to give you more specifics. Like I can't obviously cover every single thing about GLP-1 on this, but there are people out there who can help you kind of see the patterns of food that you're eating, give you suggestions on like science-backed proved methods of being successful on GLP-1s. Because this isn't about failure. This isn't about just like getting through the nausea to lose all the weight and then go back to eating like you used to. When we can put healthy practices in place, you can actually thrive on GLP-1s instead of feeling like you're suffering.
And speaking of hiring coaches, Catherine also can be hired as a GLP-1 coach herself.
I am a GLP-1 coach. So you can email weonlylookThin@gmail.com for more information.
So that sounds like a good idea. Reach out to Catherine if you're interested in hiring a coach. Also, I just wanted to interject, like, I have found with counting calories and, not being on a GLP-1, but I have found that eating, trying to prioritize protein with every meal really helps me as well to just, feel more full and satisfied throughout the day as I go along.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are getting to the last section of this, managing eating out with friends. So this is a thing, whether you're trying to lose weight or you're trying, I oftentimes would feel embarrassed because I would want to eat a lot more. Like I would eat out with friends and they would order food and just be like, oh, this is so much. I can't possibly. And meanwhile, I'm, licking the plate clean when it comes to me. But so the question becomes, when you're on a GLP-1, your appetite isn't going to match your friends' appetites. So what do you do? What are some tips for managing eating out with friends?
Okay, so we can, and like Donald said at the beginning, there's a certain shame around being on any weight loss plan. Like you don't want to tell anyone that you're tracking calories or points or on the GLP-1. You don't want to seem different than everyone else. And it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to just own like, wow, this is going to be kind of weird and I need to navigate it. But it doesn't have to be like the kind of thing where you just hide at home until your weight loss is over and then hang out with people.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you're out with friends, if possible, try to focus on foods that require extra effort. I know that sounds really strange, but like things that take more time to eat, that you can just kind of go slowly through can help. Again, hot brothy soups that might take a while to kind of navigate.
Yeah.
I know that seems silly, but hot beverages are good. Shareable portions are also helpful because then everybody's kind of taking a little bit of something at a time and it's not, well, you haven't touched anything. But something like things that are interactive, like edamame pods or peanuts in the shell that you kind of have to peel off. Again, knowing what foods you're sensitive to if peanuts don't agree with you. Again, having things that are kind of more interactive or take a longer time to eat can help. Again, shared plates or appetizers that draw less attention to how much you specifically are eating can help. And if possible, and this is true for all of us in the world, is try to initiate activities that aren't necessarily food-based. Maybe food is the sideline, but maybe it's a game night, or maybe you go hiking, or maybe instead of going out for a full meal, you meet people for coffee where you can just sort of sip instead of focus on the food part.
And look, I think that's great advice, whether you're on GLP-1s or not. If you, like me, try to make everything about food, maybe trying not to make something about food might be a good thing to try.
Well, there was an Onion article recently where it was like, man tries to figure out what the heck he's going to do with people in town visiting after they eat food. Like, it's just like, okay, let's plan lunch, let's plan dinner. But when we kind of pull back and go like, what other things could I do? Could we go to an art, like a free art night in the town? I don't know. I don't say words, but like,
let's go in the town.
In the town,
the free art night.
Farmers markets, museums, hiking, movies. You can you can slowly pull attention away from food being the primary activity. And like I said, it's going to be strange to be in an environment where you're not super hungry, but ultimately, like, I don't like anyone because they eat the same food I eat.
Right.
Like, oh, well, if you don't eat this entire potato, like, we cannot be friends. No one says that, right? And I think we get self-conscious about things because of what we think other people are thinking about us.
Right.
But the older I get, I'm like, I cannot let some Goldilocks in the world determine the perfect amount of food to eat, the perfect amount of like anything to prefer. So being in an environment where we can kind of trust ourselves and know like, yeah, it's going to be strange, but I'm with people that I care about. Hopefully they care about me and I can set some boundaries there.
Yeah, we've all encountered the food police, the people who, the arbiters of like what the perfect amount of something to eat is, like the perfect way to eat something. But I think most people are just too busy thinking about their own stuff to actually be judging like what I'm doing, what you're doing, and trying to remember that is important and not be, for me at least, to not be so self-conscious about it.
Well, but too, I mean, Donald, you're a bro.
Yeah, I'm a bro dude.
And James
is
also a bro. I know women tend to, and I'm just, from my perspective, women tend to share more about feelings and what they're going through. And I think guys can be kind of closed off and maybe not want to share a vulnerability. So how do you navigate that with friends? You just tell jokes and kick them and stuff so that they don't pay attention? Give each other noogies? I don't know what guys do.
Yeah, it's mostly lots of noogies. Lots of hanging out and giving noogies. Yeah, I don't think we do talk about it, and I think that I think I just try and eat the way I'm going to eat and not really like focus on it or draw attention to it is kind of how I deal with it. But I think to your point, and not that it's necessarily 100% on topic, but I could spend a whole weekend with a couple of guys on a Vegas trip and, come home and like not know anything about how their
like I'll be like,
their family life is.
Where's
like,
Jim from? He's like, I have no idea. Does he have siblings? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we're just talking about sports and whatever.
But I will say that we have friends who don't drink alcohol. We have family members who are gluten intolerant and have specific, like Donald's vegetarian, and people have different things that they're working on. And I think it's like, okay, well, we'll work around it, or like, we're not going to throw tomatoes at someone because they're not doing what we do. I don't know. Tomato throwing seemed to be a big deal at one point in history.
Like people brought tomatoes to gatherings so that they could throw them at speakers, like in olden times.
Exactly. So again, James, as you're going through this, and for anyone who is on any new plan or new, like trying to modify their food choices, you're navigating this path yourself. And it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're other. But really, if we're investing in ourselves, we're making a good choice. Everything is an experiment. The foods that you're eating, the way your hunger signals like show up or don't show up. It's a new way of living, and it's not a quick fix. It's not like a cure-all, and there are pros and cons to both sides, like to both sides of it. So as you're navigating it, remember to show yourself some grace. Make sure that you put in some scheduled eating opportunities and not rely on hunger signals. Focus on small portions. Prioritize protein for nutritional value. Pay attention to the foods that make you feel sick and foods that really agree with you. And finally, with your friends, try to navigate it in a way that makes sense for you, not focusing on food, but maybe other activities, and finding foods that take a lot of effort. Oh, also like eat with chopsticks for some reason. Just carry them around. Eat with your alternate hand or something to make it harder to make it weird, everybody.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you feel like you need additional support, someone who understands the GLP-1 experience, who can help you navigate the side effects and really make the most out of your experience, the GLP-1, drug use is not supposed to be terrible. It's not supposed to be just feel super sick forever so that you don't feel like eating. You can actually navigate it so that you can thrive on it and make it work for you. And if you need if you need extra support or you need a coach, check me out, man. Email at weonlylookthin@gmail.com and see if maybe a coaching opportunity is right for you. Anybody out there? I also do coaching on other stuff too, not GLP-1. So see what it's about, everybody.
Yes, indeed. So this is a husband asking you to check out my wife. Email to weonlylookthin@gmail.com. And thank you all very much for checking out this episode of the podcast. I want to remind everybody we are releasing these every other week now, aka bi-weekly. And so we didn't go away. If you don't see one on a Monday, it's probably just an off week. But we have over 400 other episodes of this show that you can find wherever you found this podcast, or at least the most recent 300 are available on all of the major podcast platforms. You can go back and listen from the beginning on YouTube or anytime on our website at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep, and if you are at weonlylookthin.com, click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about Wolt Place. We Only Look Thin Place is our Facebook-based accountability group. It's for women because we've had a couple of guys in it way back in the beginning, and there just wasn't a lot of great interaction. I think there weren't enough bros to make it work. So that's why we focus on women only for now. We have weekly Zoom meetings. And if you don't like Facebook, look, it is a challenging time to be on social media. If you don't love Facebook, our Facebook group is private. It's just full of so many supportive, wonderful women on all different parts of their journey venture. We have people on GLP-1s, people calorie tracking, maintaining. We have so many different kinds of people there, but it's just such a warm and welcoming community. And those weekly Zoom meetings are invaluable, except for the cost of how much being in Wolt Place costs. That's how valuable it is. But it is so impactful.
But the Zoom meetings are way more valuable than what the cost is to be a member.
Right. Last night we had a Zoom meeting and 2 members participated. So they basically got an hour of coaching with me. That happens weekly. People can connect with me, get coaching, get support from other people on their journey ventures. So check us out. We have 2 subscription options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if Wolt Place is right for you. So check us out.
Yes, please check it out. Also, if you want to check us out in other ways, you can follow us on social media. We are at We Only Look Thin on Facebook and Instagram. Or if you would like to be like James and email us, you can do so to weonlylookthin@gmail.com. If you have a question, if there's an episode topic you would like us to talk about. Turns out James had a question, and there was an episode topic we had not done one on. There are very few of those left, it feels like. But if you have something for us, you can reach out to weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you have a couple of extra minutes, head over to Apple Podcast and leave us a rating and a review. Not only does it let us know that what we're doing after all these years and all these episodes is still connecting with listeners, but it also helps other people find our podcast. So take a minute, give us 5 stars and leave us a nice comment. It will warm the cockles of our hearts.
And everyone loves hot cockles.
Everybody does.
Also, another thing that would really help us out is if you would just tell somebody about the show. Word of mouth really does help the show grow. So if you know someone who might get something out of it, or you think would enjoy it, or if it comes up in a conversation, or if you are in a weight loss and fitness related group online, a subreddit, a Facebook group, or a Discord server, something like that, and you give us a shout out, it really does help the show grow.
It sure does. So if you're one of those people who are kind of embarrassed that you don't actually know what a baby is, just remember that Donald, James, and I are
an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.